Better quote.
Well, Kenny, what can you tell us about Reed Travis and his availability?
I think he's day-to-day. I think he's going to be able to do a little bit of stuff today in practice. We hope he's getting better. We know that, and hope he's ready. We'll see.
Kenny, I think the concern is that this may be one of those injuries that could linger on and on. Can you give us any assurance that it's not one of those?
I wish I could give you some assurance. But what I'll say is that Reed has done an unbelievable job from the moment it happened till today of diligently working every single day, 2 and 3, 4 times a day on getting healthy. We're happy that he's going to start doing a little stuff here, doing some stuff. Maybe he's half speed, I don't know, but we'll see.
Is it safe to assume you just sort of let him dip a toe in the water and then the next game up to his knees and, you know, instead of just you're in there?
A lot of this depends on him, depends on Reed and what he's feeling. You know, we're not in the business of forcing kids to, he knows what his body is. And he'll let us know and we'll go from there with it.
Kenny, do you advise some of these guys that you know there's a likelihood they're going to go on to the next level after this season to maybe just take a minute in their last home game to soak it in, to look around, to treat it like, you know, almost treat it like a senior day? I mean, a guy like PJ, I mean, we all kind of know where that's going.
So if you're asking me specifically about PJ hadn't made a decision yet, but if PJ decides this is it, reflect back on your career. Reflect back on the 2 years that you've had here. What did you learn? How did you learn it? What do you walk out of here with? And because whatever that is, it's going to last you for the rest of your life.
How has it been harder for PJ without Reed out there the last 4 games?
The number one thing, I think every team is just gearing their defense up to stop it. You know, they're double teaming, they're triple teaming, they're clogging up lanes, and he's been really good at finding his teammates, creating offense for other guys, letting it come to him. Would have liked for last game for him not to get 2 fouls. We addressed that, not in a nice way, but I mean, I couldn't be prouder for the kid because, look, he came here and he had a lot of people questioning, you know, the way he finished last year, that last game where he played his heart out and missed all those free throws. From that player to this player we have today. Just think about the growth, the maturity, the change of his body, the three-point shooting, from A to Z. He has had a major impact on this program and on our team. And he's not done yet. There's still more in there. There's still more growth. We need more from him. There's still moments of lapses, which is normal. But we're going to address that and make sure he knows we can't have that because, look, you come to Kentucky to play basketball, November, December, January, February is great. This is time. The time is now. So there's an urgency amongst all these kids to play their best basketball right now, starting now.
I think both those fouls Tuesday in the first half were off the ball situations. What does he have to do to avoid those, and what might be borderline calls, whether they should be made or not? But obviously they were.
I would say they were ticky-tack fouls that were retaliation of somebody maybe pushing him, and he pushes back. You got to be smarter than that. Your impact on this team is vital. We can't afford for you not to be in the game. You just can't.
When you talk about the impact of PJ and Reed, but Johnny David's also a senior, and while his impact's not on the court, what is his impact?
Johnny David is one of the kids that have been here that's made a major impact through practice, through being a positive influence on his teammates. He gets along with everybody, he's supportive of everybody. You know, he doesn't get the credit, which none of these kids do when you're in a role like he's in. But the day-to-day stuff that he brings to the table, keeping guys positive on the bench, working out in practices, playing every position on the floor, which I'm sure you guys don't know, but we'll put him in. He'll guard Reed, he'll guard PJ, he'll guard Ashton. And then to see his work ethic, to be prepared for that, being on the treadmill, coming down at my end of the court, working out with the bigs. Just everything that he can do to help us, he does.
Do you give him shoulder pads when he faces Reed?
We do.
You actually?
We do. We don't want Reed to put him on his butt.
Cal was saying that Johnny could take Nick, tussle in the low post. How exactly does he do that?
I don't know about that. I'm sure Nick will try to take his head off, but he will battle. He'll do whatever it takes to help Nick get better, to help any player get better. That's his role, and he's been great at it.
How much harder has it been to practice when you only have 3 healthy big guys out there? Have you had to suit up for them?
No, I can't. It's been a little difficult, but we had to change a little bit of how we practice. A lot of stuff now is 4-on-4, simulating different things and trying to get toughness and competitiveness, things like that, being very competitive in how we practice, because we can't go really 5-on-5, we don't have enough. But we made the adjustment and tried to address it.
How many teams out there do you think would be happy to have 3 quality bigs?
Every team. I mean, our team is unique in the fact that, look, Reed went down and, Nick and EJ and PJ they've stepped in. At all times it hadn't been perfect, but they've stepped in and been positive.
How do you see PJ kind of stepping through some of the adversity he's had this year, especially these last 2 games?
In reference to the adversity of what?
I mean, just like learning from it and trying to do different things to adjust.
I mean, I can tell you guys this. This morning I text PJ, I watched the first Florida game. My man, you're 10 times better than what you played. 10 times better. What is that? Why is that? And he just saw him in the locker room and he said, I played bad, but I still had a double-double or whatever it was. That's just not good enough. That was our conversation. You're at Kentucky. Your game, your standard of excellence is beyond what we all think it is for this team to be great. And this team has a chance to be great, but it starts with his veteran leadership and ability to go out and dominate, not just play better, dominate his position.
I think he's smart enough to see the coaching mechanics at work.
No question.
So how much more complicated does that make the coaching job when this guy sees what you're doing?
He buys in. I mean, I think that look, PJ wants to be great. PJ's done an unbelievable job. He's going to bring it, and his heart is to bring it. We just got to be patient and let him know that we're not accepting of mediocre or average or above average. You're that. You walked in the door being a good college player. We need more. We need more.
With the situation with Reed being out forced him to have to learn something he may have to prepare for from this point forward?
I would say that the biggest thing since Reed's been out, I personally haven't seen the 20 points, 12, 13 rebounds. I don't want 13 and 1. I don't want 15 and 2 or 3 or 5. I want P.J. Washington to have an impact in 20 and 12, 20 and 15. Dominate the game. And when do you score that 20? What is your impact on the game when the game is in the balance? I want to know. Like, since Reed has been out, that's what I'm personally looking for.
Why do you think you haven't gotten it yet?
It's hard. I mean, the other team, again, is gearing toward him. A big piece of our physicality, a big piece of our scoring, Reed Travis. That's gone, so you're going to isolate PJ and see what happens.
What we saw in that last game, though, with him, especially in the second half, get it to him in the high post, let him turn immediately and face up, was that a matter of he's better when he can see what's coming at him as opposed to having his back to the basket and having guys swarm him?
I think that's a great point. I think Cal has done a great job of finding different ways of getting him the ball so that teams can't just pre-rotate. And part of that is facing up. Just having him move to the post at time, having him be at the top of the key and drive where he can assess what the defense is doing, and he is a willing passer, which makes, again, you got a choice to make. Am I leaving Tyler Hero to go help on PJ? Well, if you do, you may get burned. Am I leaving Kelvin Johnson? If you do, you may get burned. Am I leaving Nick? Well, if he sees a lob, you may get dunked on. I mean, so he's done a great job of that. But again, would like to see that rebound number, the assist numbers to continue to go up.
Tyler and Keldon struggled at Tennessee but had a nice contract. What was the difference in those two performances for them?
I just think the mental approach. For me, watching the game, just assessing what I've seen on tape. In the Tennessee game, their minds were racing. Basically, another way of saying it is Tennessee hit them in the mouth. They were, whoa, what is this? And they were the aggressors at the last game. They were the aggressor. I talked to Kermit right after the game, and he just bragged about how good Keldon and Tyler were, especially defensively.
How's Florida different from that first game?
I just think Florida's a well-coached team, very good team. Hudson has made a big resurgence. The last 5 games, he's averaging around 18 a game. They got really good guard play. Look, this team can come in here and beat us. We got to play well. We got to be good on the boards, rebounding. We have to defend. That's what we hang our hat on. And we got to be the aggressors.
One or two more guys, we got them.
Does this feel like a sort of a jump start on what's going to be the rest of the way after where every team you play is playing kind of for their lives? It's an elimination game. Florida's kind of one of those teams that doesn't know what its postseason fate is yet.
Yeah. I think Cal has talked to this team a lot about it's different when you're not playing for something and you're playing Kentucky. Well, when everybody's playing for something, it's a little different. There's a different pressure to it. That's why we play all the non-conference games that we play so that we get used to playing in big games where it means something. So we'll see, hopefully we come out and play with energy and play with effort and be the aggressor and put them on their heels. That's our game plan.
You said Kermit was impressed with Tyler and Keldon's defense. Were you guys impressed? And then what were they doing that was such a positive?
Just being disruptive. We don't want offenses to come into games and just be able to move the ball and drive the ball and pass the ball whenever, wherever they want to get it. We want to be the aggressor. We want to disrupt what they're doing offensively, and then we want to rebound and fly. Yeah, it's easy to look at what they did offensively, but defensively, they played hard. They played hard.
All right, guys.